Let's get to Charlotte in Pennsylvania. Charlotte, you're live.
Hi, I'm calling with a solution.
Okay.
And the solution is for us to be Maccabees who circle Jericho and take down the walls of Jericho. We have to make noise and keep the pressure on. We have to be cleaning out the swamps still. We are not feckless, and we are not ineffective. So we got to just keep the pressure up and be Maccabees. Maccabees rely on their Judeo-Christian principles, and they keep pushing forward. That's a word coined by Steve Bannon. So we just got to keep it up and take the walls of Jericho down. People should tell those people to resign, not recall or not primary them. That takes too long. Just circle them like the walls of Jericho with placards and horns and making noise and telling them to resign right now. So that's my message. We just got to take it all back like the Maccabees and take the walls of Jericho down. Circle them.
I love you, Charlotte. Thank you. Charlotte, Maccabees, let's circle. Amy in Atlanta texted in. Amy, you got to call in today, Amy. She texted in. She said, Patriots need to run for office. Damn right. But they can't win a primary without us. Don't you understand now that we control the party? If we rise up, we control the party. They can raise their money and they can go on their yachts. We control the party because we got the people. We got the numbers. We got beat in Georgia because our people didn't turn out because they're done. They're done with Purdue's. They're done with Loeffler's. They're done with Kemp's. They're done with Raffensperger's. They're done. We're done. Sometimes you got to burn the house down to rebuild it. We're done. They've been taking us for granted, and now we're fighting back. And they're all going down. And it's going to be our candidates. Let's get to line one. Steve in Niagara Falls. Steve, you're live.
I've been up all night like you, and I agree with you that the two numbskulls that ran for the Senate should have thrown their support behind Trump and should have been vigilant. With that said, I think this election was going to get stolen anyway. Doesn't excuse what those two did, but the scary part of all of this is the progressive globalists picked on one of the most red states in this country, and they blatantly, in our faces, stole the election. And now we're faced today with the possibility, and I'm hopeful Trump's going to be sworn in January 20th, but we are now faced with Biden being president. The game is over then. You can say we can fight all we want, but if they can rig the elections in Georgia, and if they can pull it off in the other states in question, they're going to do it in Texas, they're going to do it in Alabama, they're going to do it in Tennessee, and it's done. And in the next 4 years, and I'm hopeful Trump's going to be sworn in, not giving up on that. But if indeed it's a Biden-Harris ticket, or let's just say Harris is the president, which she will be, they have given Antifa and Black Lives Matter a green light to do whatever they want. I'm not advocating the violence because I didn't bring the violence. I'm not advocating burning down cities. They did. But what is going to be the response, and a lot of your callers have the answer, when these people feel emboldened to walk down our neighborhoods, point the gun at us, come to our front door, what do you think's the response going to be? I'm not advocating for this. Don't want to see this happen. There is going to be bloodshed in this country, not because I want to do anything to the progressives. I want to stay the hell away from them, but because they are going to have the green light. The ramifications of what happened in the last 2 months, if we don't get Trump in on January 20th, there's nothing to fight. They've won. The only solution to this is going to be, I believe, a combat situation. I don't want to do it. I'm 55 years old. I'm nursing a broken shoulder. This does not make me feel good. But it is the left that's brought the violence, John. It is the left that has blatantly whipped the middle finger in our faces and said, you're not going to be able to do anything about it. eventually, history shows us where these things end up. And I'm very, very concerned right now, even if Trump gets in. These people have to be destroyed politically. And on top of it, and I don't want to go on and on and on, the jokers like Raffensperger and Kemp need to be thrown in jail. And I damn well want to start seeing that if he gets back into office, Trump, people being used as an example when you pull stuff off like this, because you're messing with the heart of this country.
Steve, thank you. Thank you, Steve. I get it. Thank you. Let's get to Emily in Pittsburgh, line 2. Emily, you're live. Emily, line 2, Pittsburgh. You're live, Emily. Go ahead.
Oh, this is Dennis.
Okay, Dennis, line 3, you're live. Go ahead.
Hey, I got a question for you. It's been kind of bothering me for several days now. Why is it that I cannot go down to Georgia and offer those voters down there $2,000 to vote Republican? However, Joe Biden can offer them $2,000 to vote Democrat, and the Department of Justice is not doing anything about it.
Well, Dennis, that's a very good question, and we're different, right? Like Republicans don't want to vote for you because you're going to give a check for $2,000. It's just not in our DNA, right? So it's easy for them to do because that's their whole deal, right? Vote for us and you'll get money. Vote for us and you'll get stuff. Vote for us, you get free health care. Vote for us, you'll get stuff. You'll get free stuff until we bankrupt the country, and then we'll blame the Republicans for that, and then we'll nationalize the banks, and then you're eating out of garbage cans like Venezuela. I mean, but they'll be in power, and they'll have the houses with, like Purdue has with a gated community within a gated community. They'll have that. But you're right. I mean, Biden came down and said, elect these 2 Democrats, and you get $2,000 apiece.
Yep.
That's exactly what happened.
Where's the Department of Justice? This is illegal.
Sure it is. But Trump started it by demanding a $2,000 check after the negotiations were over. He did that. He's the one that did that. And then, it got blocked because he had a couple things in it that McConnell put in. So they're like, hey, vote for us, and the hell with that. I'll just give you money. You know what? Who was it? There was a French philosopher who said, a democracy will fail as soon as people start figuring out how to vote themselves everybody else's money and not work or not do anything. He said, as soon as they figure that out, it will fail. Dennis and Dinwiddie, thank you. Let's get to Don in Rice, Virginia. Don, line 3, you're live.
Good morning, John. I'm just getting dressed here to leave for Washington. It's at this point, I feel compelled. It is all that one American can do is make that crowd up in Washington one person larger, and that's all I feel I have left. Mm-hmm. And that's what I'm going to do today. And I will take pictures, and I will send some in an email.
And that's it.
That's it. It's all I have is to show my face. If every American patriot within 200 miles of Washington, D.C. were to show up today, it would make a big difference. I
think it will. I think you're right. I'm in Atlanta. I can't go. But everybody else should go. I mean, anybody that you're exactly right. What time does it start?
It starts at 1 o'clock, but I'm concerned about, I'm concerned about for my safety. And I'm also concerned that there may be some planned traffic backups to stop people from flowing into the city.
Oh, sure.
I'm sure there'll be a lot of things set up to stop people from coming into the city, to discourage anyone. But I'm going to go out, get on the metro from outside of D.C. and take the train in, and hopefully everything goes okay.
If you can make it to D.C., make it, and Mike Pence is the last firewall. But I tell you what, they've been taking us for granted, and no more. We're done. We're done with that. You've got to make your voice heard. And I've got a lot of texts here. I got to get to some of those. John Fredericks Radio Network, 888-480-JOHN. This is your voice. 888-480-5646. Thank you, Don in Rice, Virginia. Okay. God is with Emily in Pittsburgh. This time, we're going to make it work. Emily, line 1, you're live.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, ma'am.
Perfect. I wanted to say that we have to stop the steal right now. You think that during this pandemic our lives have been ruined? It's going to be a heck of a lot worse under Biden if we don't rectify this now. And Sunday there was a football game going on TV in Pennsylvania, and 500 to 1,000 people peacefully visited Corman's house and let them know that we aren't going to stand by and watch this happen. We want our voices heard. We want our republic. We want justice. We want everything to be fair and not stolen.
Mm-hmm.
So they came out with a letter on Tuesday saying that our results should not have been certified. The PA legislature.
And that's because you had the rally in front of. That's because you had the rally in front of. Who was that? The Speaker of the House. Who was that you had the rally in front of in Pennsylvania?
Corman, I do believe, is pro tempore of the PA Senate legislature.
Right.
And Kim Ward is the majority leader. She just got appointed yesterday for the PA Senate.
Well, I tell you what, that's what you have to do, right? I mean, you have to do that. You have to go, and you have to rally, and you have to protest, and you got to get involved. And we're done.
It is honestly a war right now.
This is the whole thing, Emily.
If you don't fight now, pardon?
We're done sitting around and being taken for granted. We're done with that.
Oh, people have to realize it's a war, and if we don't fight now, there's not going to be a republic to save.
Exactly. Thank you. Emily, line 1 in Pittsburgh, thank you. I'm going to get some text here. I'm going to get to Mary in Mount Vernon, Texas. Says, we're having a rally to support Trump at Titus County, Texas courthouse at noon. You go, Mary. And Mary also says, he said starts at 1, opens at 7 a.m., and Trump speaks at 11 a.m. 1 p.m. is when they move to the Capitol. So I want to thank Mary for that. Corey in Williamsburg says, good for the people who go to D.C. today. I did it on 9/12/09. Was worried about safety too. Was worth it then. Great people came. Thank you, Corey, for that. Robert in Chesapeake sent he sent a quote from Thomas Jefferson, Robert, but I can't really get to it. Let's see, Jennifer from Virginia Beach. I read Jennifer's text here. You want to text us 757-692-1710. Jennifer says, I completely agree with Steve from Niagara Falls. Antifa is the new police state. Defund the police doesn't mean no police. It means the left takes over. Antifa is in its place. There are Congress people who want a list of Trump supporters to be punished. It's not going to be unicorns and unity. They want blood. It's quite unsettling. Jennifer in Virginia Beach, thank you. Let's get to Tim in Virginia Beach. Says Steve in Niagara Falls is right. So Steve, you're calling over very, very well. Let's see what else we got here. Very quickly, Amy. I think I already read this, but Amy said in Atlanta. Amy, you need to call in, by the way, 888-480-JOHN. Amy said Patriots need to run for office. And we can go on from there. Sean in Newport News says, has the GOP started kissing Trump's butt yet? No, they want him out. They want him out. They just want to they want to send you text to get you to send them money. And then they want to get their own candidates in. And then they want to play footsie with China, open up the borders, and go to Goldman Sachs. And talk about a capital gains tax cut. That's what they want. And then when push comes to shove, at the end of the day, they'll do, I was going to say it again, one of our callers said it, brilliant line, they'll make the booty call. They'll give you nothing, and they'll want the booty, which is go and vote for them and send them money. And then as soon as they win, they don't want to hear from you again. And they certainly don't want you calling into a show like mine. Let's get to line 1, John in Raleigh, North Carolina. John, you're live.
Hey, John, how you doing?
Great.
Got a question for you, sir. I've never called a radio show before in my life, but I woke up, heard your show going, thought I had a question. How can those two senators be sworn in based on what Stacey Abrams' sister pulled off, those 4,000 votes?
I mean, right now they're going to win. Both of them are going to win by way over 4,000 votes. I mean, the votes are still. I said if you get to midnight and you're not up by 20, 30,000, you're going to lose. So their vote lead is just as the day goes on, it goes up because now the mail-in ballots, they can come in until 5 p.m. on the final day. They're getting processed. They're getting counted. They're all for the Democrats. So the 4,000 didn't matter. Both of them are going to win. Both of them are going to buy way more than that.
Okay, well, see, the last count I saw, it was less than that. So
no, it's
I'm
only going to grow.
I'm behind the eight ball on my news, but what about the voting machine problem, and what about the holding those precincts open late in the Savannah area?
Well, because they held them open so they could get more Democratic votes. And isn't it ironic that the machines only break down in heavily Republican areas at the heaviest time for people to come in and vote in the morning? Isn't that just amazing? I mean, it's just coincidence, John, right? Just coincidence. John Fredericks Radio Network, stay with us. All right, let's get to Dorothy in Lawrenceville, Virginia. Dorothy, line 3, you're live.
John, can you hear me okay?
Loud and clear, Dorothy.
Okay, I'm actually Lawrenceville, Georgia.
Okay, Lawrenceville, Georgia. Okay, I got the wrong city. I'm
I just
sorry.
Absolutely adore your show, and I am so thrilled that you're not going anywhere. One concern I have is, I think the deplorables, I think our numbers are there. Let's just say ideally we put up, great candidates to take Raffensperger's place and all those clowns. I'm concerned about the underlying election law that has been tampered with in Georgia. It's like Stacey Abrams moved in and kind of just seized a lot of power because, for instance, the consent decree. Don't we need the political will in our legislature? Isn't that an unlawful document? Doesn't
Yes.
that need to be reversed?
Absolutely unlawful document. Yes.
Yeah,
That's why they
we
should.
could have the greatest.
Yep.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
Oh, I mean, we could have the greatest candidates up, primary out these people, but then we have another election, and we've got these, mail-in ballot problems, absentee ballot problems, and how are we going to win something again with all that we've uncovered in these past 2 elections?
Well, in Georgia, here's how you solve it. The Georgia General Assembly goes into session on Monday the 11th, right? First thing they have to do is take up voter reform. They have to get rid of these mail-in ballots. They have to get rid of no excuse absentee ballots. They have to get rid of the consent decree. They have to get rid of drop boxes with no chain of custody. They have to get rid of it all. You got to go vote on game day. That's what they have to do. Stacey Abrams will scream her head off. Let her win. Let her try to win fairly. Okay? Go ahead and run in 2022. Yeah. Go ahead and run it. Make it so you have to vote. You have to show an ID, right? You absentee ballot. You have to have a reason. You don't mail them out to as soon as I heard they mailed these out to 1.5 million people, I knew we were dead. Plus, we had 2 feckless, pathetic candidates that wouldn't stand with the president. Unbelievable. And then they do it on the final hours of the final day. They just think we're stupid. Here's the problem. These candidates, these consultants, Mark Meadows, the people in the White House, they just think we're stupid. They think we're too stupid to have a job. And they could just say, all hands on deck, all of my options are open, send out a tweet, and we're just going to give money, and everything is going to be fine. Those days are over. We run the party, not them. Dorothy, we have the numbers. We control it if we choose to take it. And today we take it. We're going to primary them all.
Yeah.
Thank you, Dorothy.
Yeah.
Hey, anything else?
No, that's it.
You got me all fired up, Dorothy. I'm sorry. I took your time. But if you want anything else to say, I shouldn't do that. Go ahead. Anything else?
No.
All right, Dorothy. Dorothy got me fired up, Christine. Let's get to, thank you, Dorothy, in Lawrenceville, Georgia. Let's get to Jan from St. Louis on line 2. Jan, you're live.
Hi, and good morning. I just wanted to say, and I stand to be corrected, but wasn't it John Carville who said, it's the economy, stupid?
Yep.
I say, it's the Constitution, stupid. Thank you.
I like it, Jan. It's the Constitution. Well, we'd have to turn on your mic in order for you to ask a question, Christine. Go ahead.
I have a question for you, Jan. You're up in St. Louis. How did you hear about the John Fredericks show?
War Room Pandemic.
Oh, okay.
Steve Bannon's my hero, and John Fredericks is running a good second.
Hey, if you're second to Steve Bannon, that's like a badge of honor.
There you go.
Thank you, Jan.
Thank
you. Always the bridesmaid, never the bride. Let's get. Hey, I'm a good opening act for Steve. What do they call those opening acts? Like where you have, like you have the big draw, like the Beach Boys or something. Or, of course, now I'm dating myself, right? The Beach Boys to me is a big
opening act.
But whatever the opening act, right? Yeah, then you have an opening act, like that nobody ever heard of. Yeah. That's like me.
Well,
Thanks,
John
Jan.
the Baptist was the opening act for Jesus.
John the Baptist was the opening act. Okay, lots of calls. Let's get to, oh my God, we're going to California. Let's get to Vince on the left coast where it is 4:47 in the morning. Vince on line 1, you're live, Vince.
Good morning, John.
Good morning, Vince. Go ahead, Vince.
Okay, well, hey, don't hold me being from California, don't hold that against me. I actually live in the district of House Minority Speaker Kevin McCarthy, and
go ahead, Vince. You have to. Vince? All right. I don't know what happened. Vince, you're futzing there with your phone. When you're on the air, sometimes if I don't say anything, I'm listening, right? I have 2 ears and 1 mouth. I'm a very, very good listener. So because I'm not giving you feedback, I'm listening. Let's get to Charlie in South Carolina. Line 3, Charlie, you're live.
Hi, John. Thanks for taking my call.
Yes.
I was born in South Georgia, and I got relatives there. I called them and encouraged them all to get out and vote. But here's my deal. Why can't we do to them what they do to us? Roy Moore in Alabama was unseated based on a bunch of dirty mudslinging from decades ago. Here we got Andrew Warnock with all these domestic violence problems. Why can't Mitch McConnell refuse to seat him? We need to get rid of Mitch McConnell. He's a feckless Republican. We should put somebody in there like Tommy Tuberville as, the Senate minority leader now, I guess. If we ever get the majority again, Mitch McConnell should never be the majority leader because he's done a terrible job. You know what I mean? And also, we need to do a better job of recruiting, registering new voters. We need to learn to play dirty politics as I hate to, I'm a Christian. I hate to do dirty politics, but we need to fight as dirty as they do because otherwise we're screwed. You know what I mean?
Well, we're bringing a pop gun to a machine gun battle. I want to bring a bazooka.
Yeah.
I want a bazooka. I'm done. Look, Charlie, we're done. Today is you can look at today as a disaster, like I did at 3 a.m., but like my wife said at 3 a.m., you said they were going to lose 7 weeks ago. What? You're now like shocked? That's like your caller said they were going to lose. You knew they were going to lose. You called everybody in the White House. You called the family. You told them everything. They did nothing. And at the 11th hour, Perdue sends a tweet out when his exit polls show that he's going to get beat by Ossoff. So he sends a tweet out at 10:30 a.m. in a profile in courage. Hey, go play golf, David. Thank you, Charlie. Got to fight. Got to fight.
Yeah.
Thank you, Charlie. Thank you, and thanks for tuning us in. Let's get to Atlanta, where we have Andrew live on line 4. Andrew, you're live.
Yeah, good morning, John. How's it going?
Never better.
All right. Well,
because look, Andrew, I'm dug in. Okay, I'm dug in. I was contemplating, like, let me just get home this weekend, watch the Titans. I'm a big Titans fan. So is my family. Let's watch a Tennessee game with my family. And my wife is like, "Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me? You're gonna come home now? No, you stay there and you fight." And so that's what we're doing. And so that put me in a better mood. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I just I just want to take a few minutes, give you my 30,000-foot view from the results last night. I basically, since November 3rd, I've been calling local state politicians daily, emailing them. I mean, it's borderline harassment what I'm doing to these guys, John. I've gone to numerous Stop the Steal rallies. I mean, hell, last Sunday I was outside the governor's mansion on West Paces Ferry with probably 24 patriots getting screamed and yelled at by all sorts of Dems on West Paces Ferry. I was one of the voices demanding Loeffler object the electoral college results or she doesn't get my vote. Well, of course, last minute she said she would. So like a good registered Republican, John, I went ahead and held my nose, got in line at 7 a.m. and cast my ballot for her in Purdue. But I'm done yelling at buildings. I'm done waving flags, holding signs, because in the last 60 days, I have not seen it move the needle. I've watched these judges, these politicians have all these hearings and literally refuse to acknowledge the fraud that took place, and it's almost like they're complying with it. And I think there's no way we can root all these swamp creatures. I mean, 2020 has proven how deep the swamp is, and I think we're at a watershed moment because it's game over if Biden gets in that Oval Office. And forget about 2022, 2024. This steal of 2020 was years in the making. I'm sure of that. And this Democrat machine will not stop on day one. I mean, they're going to make it literally impossible for conservatives and patriots like you and I to get any seats at the table federally. And we've got all these election laws in place now. They've got the validation. They're just going to run with it. And I think this was a dress rehearsal, and there's no stopping these people. So we've got some seriously hard and critical decisions to make as a movement of 70 million people. Otherwise, it's big tech censorship to continue. You can forget about, the Second Amendment's going to just keep deteriorating away. Abortion on demand and this COVID thing, they're just going to keep leveraging it, and we're going to
fight. We're going to fight.
Change.
And the first thing we have to do to fight, Andrew, is we have to nominate candidates who are going to fight for us, that believe in our agenda, our America First agenda, and nominate candidates who are going to fight for us and not sell us out the way Perdue and Loeffler did, with feckless, meaningless campaigns, getting donor money from Karl Rove, milking his donors in Atlanta or whatever else he was doing. We're done with that. So the first thing we need is leaders that are going to fight for us. And if they don't, we'll throw them out.
And I want to put in there, your calls do work. Do not think they don't work. It works.
They worked in Pennsylvania.
Keep calling.
They worked in Wisconsin.
Keep calling. Every day, everybody on this phone, make 2 phone calls every day. It made Loeffler change, come out for...
It was late, and you were the one that said it was too late, Christine. You said it was too late. I said it better late than never, but you basically said it was too late because, some more people turned out to vote, but nobody was knocking on doors for her. Nobody campaigned for her. They were pissed.
Right, but I'm just saying your calls made her come out against a decertification.
That's right.
It does work. They do not all day long. Their staff has to answer these calls. Their staff has to answer these emails. It does work, but this right now is a pruning. And prunings hurt. Prunings can be ugly. But in that long run, it makes things grow.
It's a pruning.
This has been a message of the party that we are, this is it.
Well, we need to take it over.
Right. So
look.
Go Google your local GOP office. Go figure out how to get involved at the local level and take the party over, because you then vote for the leadership. And that is what votes for the president.
Andrew, Atlanta, thank you. Let's get to Ned in Glen Allen, Virginia. Line 1. Ned, you're live.
Hey, good morning, John. Listen, it's no longer about elections. It's about massive fraud. Everybody knew this was going to happen. And you said it last night. It's so interesting. I'm in Virginia. And you said, this feels just like Virginia statewide, where we're way ahead. The last 3 counties come in after everybody else, and we lose. And it's the same model that they're using. And just one last thing. You had a lady on there last night from the RNC. I think she was the national chairwoman from Georgia.
Ginger Howard, National Committee woman.
Right. She wasn't a serious person. She was really having a great time last night telling us that Georgia's a red state. It's not a red state. It's a fraud state. And why would the RNC ever schedule a retreat at a resort on one of the most important days in this country's history? Why would they schedule this meeting to talk about the future when we haven't corrected the past?
So the apparatus of the Republican National Committee has an excuse not to be in Washington on January the 6th, Ned. That's why.
Absolutely, and they should all be replaced. That whole 186 people, as she told us, should be gone, and we should take over cut the head off and take over the leadership, and we'll get this thing straightened out.
You know, it's amazing what you learn when you turn my radio show on, and it's interesting you brought that up. I like Ginger. I like her a lot. She's a very nice lady, but that was not really a serious situation last night. I mean, you're going to go to Amelia Island, and Ronald Romney, and so she got everybody out of town. They could have had this on the 10th. They could have had this. They planned it to give cover to the RNC apparatchiks, so they didn't have to be there. They gave them cover, right? But you know what? In the next 30 minutes, they're going to be sending you a text asking for money.
That's right. And you know what? She was not a serious person. I was really upset that someone would be as giddy and laughing about a red state that I knew. I was watching the returns. You could see them taking votes away from Purdue a couple of times. You knew that Fulton was coming in, in the middle of the night. I knew what was coming. You knew what was coming.
Yeah. At 9:30, when I saw that the lead that came in from the rural counties was 2 or 3%. They had leads of 3%, and 25% of DeKalb was in. It was over. I mean, they had to had a 7-point lead. They had 3. I told Bannon at 10:30 a.m. we were going to lose, because all the feedback I was getting is the modeling shows we're going to get a turnout about 850. There's no million. It never materialized.
And now they're counting the phony ballots with no observers. They've got them in pens miles away from the desk. I mean, it's the same thing. Why would we be surprised today?
If you go down the same path, Ned, you end up in the same place. But here's what we're going to do. We're going to fight. We got 70 million voters. The deplorables are no longer going to be taken for granted, and I'm going to personally lead the effort, because I'm going to give everybody a voice, because that's what they haven't had, a voice.
That's right.
And we're done. We're done, and we're going to take the party over by primarying every one of these feckless losers. No more Purdue's, no more Loefflers, no more Kemps, no more Raffenspergers. We have the numbers to kick every one of them out in a primary, every single one. And I know Patrick in Fort Lauderdale says, they now control the machines. Kemp controls the machines. No. The General Assembly is going to meet on the 11th, led by Beach. That guy's got balls, beach balls, hashtag beach balls. Led by Beach and Senator Ligon and these people, and they're going to go in there and they're going to kick butt, right? And they're going to change all this. And so when primary time comes, that's where we exert the power. And we're going to throw them out. Now, it's going to take a while.